So I just keep going through. But then I tell you something too, haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
That's how hateful you guys are. How you step on anybody to stay on the top.
There's a storm brewing in the world of celebrity gossip, and this one has it all: glitz, secrecy, and jaw-dropping rumors straight out of Hollywood's most shadowy corners. Imagine this: a tape worth 100 million currency units allegedly exchanged hands, featuring none other than Steve Harvey's wife, Marjorie Harvey, in an unthinkable scenario involving the embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. But the story doesn't stop at the tape itself. It's the tangled web of connections, motivations, and whispered deals behind closed doors that make this tale one of the most scandalous in recent memory.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
All started with Daniel Baldwin's shocking claims during a podcast appearance where he pulled back the curtain on Diddy's infamous gatherings. These weren't your average celebrity parties. According to Baldwin, these events had a darker, more exclusive side once the main crowd thinned out. He described a scenario straight out of a suspense thriller, attendees unknowingly recorded by hidden cameras, with the footage now allegedly being used as leverage. Baldwin speculated that a fierce bidding war was underway, with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry scrambling to keep damning evidence out of the public eye. And right in the middle of all this chaos, the Harveys.
I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything, with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties they did.
For those unfamiliar with Diddy's legendary gatherings, they were once the epitome of extravagance. Celebrities from every corner of the industry clamored for an invite to his famed white parties. These events, with their strict all-white dress codes, were touted as a celebration of unity, elegance, and cultural excellence. At first glance, they seemed like the perfect blend of high fashion and hip-hop royalty. Guests like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Mariah Carey, and Leonardo DiCaprio graced the guest lists, mingling in sprawling mansions where bubbly flowed freely and fireworks lit up the night sky. But as lawsuits and allegations pour in, a much darker picture is emerging. Some attendees and employees have come forward with disturbing claims, painting these parties as more than just glamorous affairs. Allegations of coercion, misconduct, and exploitation have cast a shadow over these once iconic events. Amidst all this, Daniel Baldwin's revelations added fuel to the fire, suggesting that these gatherings were meticulously staged not just for socializing but for something far more sinister: control. Cameras, Baldwin claimed, were hidden all over Diddy's properties, secretly capturing moments that many would prefer to keep private. Whether those recordings were taken with or without consent remains a matter of speculation, but the mere idea of such a setup has sent shockwaves through the industry.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on.
Now, let's connect the dots to Steve Harvey and his wife, Marjorie. Rumors suggest that Steve, known for his larger-than-life personality and motivational speeches, might have entered this murky saga in a desperate bid to protect his family's reputation. Whispers in the industry hint at a tape allegedly featuring Marjorie in compromising circumstances during one of Diddy's gatherings, with Steve himself rumored to be present. The idea of such an exchange, 100 million currency units, changing hands to secure the footage, has ignited a media frenzy. Was this a move to shield Marjorie and their carefully cultivated public image? Or could there be more to this story than meets the eye?
It's like haters. When you get haters, you know, people's opinion of you is none of your business. I have lots of haters.
As we dig deeper, the timeline of events gets even murkier. Diddy's infamous white parties, which began in the late 1990s, were initially hailed as groundbreaking social events that bridged the gap between hip-hop culture and high society. He once described them as celebrations of unity, where people from all walks of life could come together on equal footing. But behind the scenes, allegations of misconduct have begun to paint a far less rosy picture. Lawsuits describe these events as anything but inclusive, with claims of manipulation and control casting a long shadow over their legacy.
I'm not sure.
If that's part of the indictment, that's somewhat like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you gonna do it again, that ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
Diddy, meanwhile, finds himself at the center of a legal and reputational hurricane. Accusations of misconduct have piled up, and lawsuits continue to mount. Some allege that he used his influence and resources to orchestrate scenarios that left individuals vulnerable, with promises of career advancement dangling like carrots in front of starstruck hopefuls. Others claim that his infamous after-hours gatherings were anything but innocent, with attendees allegedly subjected to situations they never signed up for. And now, with Baldwin's claims about a bidding war for tapes, it seems that Diddy's troubles are far from over. The suggestion that he might be using these recordings as leverage, or even as a desperate means to fund his legal battles, adds a whole new layer of intrigue to the saga.
Sure, I don't buy for a minute that he's going to prison without getting out of here somewhere and stashing $2 billion or whatever. I think he has that kind of power, meaning Sean himself. But remember, it goes a lot deeper than that.
Marjorie's alleged involvement adds a deeply personal twist to this already convoluted tale. Known for her glamorous lifestyle and her role as Steve Harvey's better half, Marjorie has often been portrayed as the epitome of elegance and sophistication. Her past, however, has been the subject of scrutiny, with whispers of connections to controversial figures long before she met Steve. Could her history have made her a target for those looking to exploit vulnerabilities? Or is this just another layer of sensationalism in a story already bursting at the seams with intrigue?
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
One particularly chilling story comes from a man who attended Diddy's first white party in 1998 with dreams of breaking into the music industry. According to his lawsuit, what started as a chance encounter with Diddy quickly turned into a nightmare. The man alleges that he was approached by Diddy, praised for his look, and then led into a private space under the guise of discussing career opportunities. What happened next, according to the lawsuit, was a violation of trust and boundaries that left the man shattered. Similar stories have emerged from others who attended these events over the years, with claims ranging from subtle coercion to outright exploitation.
Let's first say that you shouldn't feel guilty for anything.
And then there's Steve himself. The thought of the charismatic television host and comedian who has built an empire on the principles of hard work, faith, and family values being entangled in such a scandal is almost unthinkable. Yet, the rumors persist. Some suggest that Steve's decision to allegedly purchase the tape was not just about protecting Marjorie, but also about safeguarding his own reputation. After all, in the world of entertainment, public perception is everything. Could this have been a calculated move to prevent a potential fallout that might have unraveled everything he's worked so hard to build? As the pieces of this puzzle come together, one thing becomes clear: there's more to this story than meets the eye. The allegations against Diddy, the rumors surrounding Steve and Marjorie, and the shadowy world of hidden recordings and secret deals all point to a much larger narrative about power, control, and the lengths to which some will go to protect their empires. With more lawsuits on the horizon and the trial date for Diddy's case looming, the full extent of this scandal is yet to be revealed.
Please, stop ignoring the red flags in your relationship and thinking you can change a man.
But for now, the question remains, just how far would someone go to bury their secrets? And in a world where reputation can make or break a career, are there any limits to what people will do to protect their image? As we transition into the next chapter of this tale, we'll dive deeper into Marjorie Harvey's past and the role it may have played in shaping the events that have brought us to this crossroads. Stay tuned, because the twists and turns are far from over. The story of Steve and Marjorie Harvey's rise to the top has always been told as a fairy tale, two people overcoming their past to build an empire together. But as more rumors and allegations surface, a different picture is emerging, one filled with whispers of hidden connections, questionable decisions, and a past that seems to linger just beneath the polished surface of their glamorous lives. Could Marjorie's history hold the key to understanding this tangled web of accusations, rumors, and power plays? Let's dive deeper into a story that's as complicated as it is fascinating.
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of faith.
To understand where this saga truly begins, we have to rewind to Marjorie Harvey's life before Steve entered the picture. Today, she's known as a jet-setting fashion icon, the queen of Instagram-worthy vacations, and the woman who saved Steve Harvey, as he so often claims. But long before she was gracing red carpets and front rows at Paris Fashion Week, Marjorie had a much different reputation, one tied to connections that many would rather forget. According to reports, Marjorie was previously married to not one but two individuals who were heavily involved in illegal activities. Her first husband, Jim Townsend, was accused of running a large-scale organization in the 1990s and was eventually sentenced to life behind bars. This was no small-time operation. Townsend was allegedly caught trying to organize a massive transaction that ultimately landed him in prison. During this time, Marjorie was reportedly pregnant with their second child, a detail that adds another layer of complexity to her story.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
Here's where things get even more intriguing. Townsend later claimed in interviews that authorities had evidence tying Marjorie to his operation, but that he made a deal to protect her from being implicated. Whether this is true or just another rumor, it paints a picture of someone who has always been on the edge of controversy. What's more, her second husband, Donald Woods, was reportedly involved in similar activities. Woods, who is said to be a relative of Townsend, also found himself on the wrong side of the law. These connections have led many to speculate whether Marjorie's rise to prominence alongside Steve was built on a foundation far removed from her current polished image.
It's interesting because, obviously this civil suit was coming for a while, and there was some talk between Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers. I think both Busby and Jay-Z's lawyers are really alphas.
But as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. Rumors have long swirled that Marjorie's influence on Steve's career wasn't just motivational but financial. Some have speculated that the resources she brought into their relationship may have had ties to her past connections. Could it be that the empire they've built together was, at least in part, funded by money with a questionable origin? This theory gained traction when reports surfaced suggesting that Marjorie's ex-husbands were deeply involved in activities that generated significant sums of money. While there's no concrete evidence to suggest that Marjorie directly benefited from these activities, the timing of her marriages and subsequent rise to prominence alongside Steve has raised eyebrows. Now, let's talk about Steve himself. Known for his larger-than-life personality and his ability to inspire millions, Steve has carefully crafted his public image as a family man and a beacon of positivity. But even he isn't without his share of controversies. From his infamous mishap at the Miss Universe pageant to his polarizing comments in interviews, Steve has had his fair share of public missteps. Yet, through it all, he's managed to maintain his status as one of the most beloved figures in entertainment. Could this be because he's a master of controlling the narrative? Some believe that Steve's ability to navigate scandal and come out on top isn't just luck but a calculated effort to protect his brand at all costs. This brings us to the recent rumors surrounding the alleged tape involving Marjorie and Diddy. If such a tape exists, it could have devastating consequences for the Harveys' carefully curated image. For Steve, whose entire career is built on his reputation as a man of integrity, the implications are enormous. And yet, if the whispers are true that Steve paid an astronomical sum to keep the footage under wraps, it suggests a level of desperation that's hard to ignore. Could it be that Steve saw this as the only way to protect not just his wife, but the entire empire they've built together? And what does this say about the lengths to which he's willing to go to maintain his public persona? But what does all of this have to do with Steve Harvey? To understand that, you have to look at the role Marjorie has played in shaping his empire. Steve has often credited her with turning his life around. He's spoken openly about how meeting Marjorie was a turning point for him, both personally and professionally. After 2 failed marriages and a career that, while successful, lacked the stability he craved, Steve found in Marjorie what he called the missing piece. Together, they built a brand that extends far beyond Steve's work as a comedian and television host. From best-selling books to lucrative business deals, the Harveys have positioned themselves as a power couple who seemingly have it all.
Celebrity couple. We were never a celebrity couple. We were a couple who just happened to be celebrities.
That's beautiful.
Like real people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as for Marjorie, her role in this saga remains shrouded in mystery. Some see her as a victim of circumstances, a woman who has faced unimaginable challenges and come out stronger on the other side. Others view her as a calculating figure who has used her connections and influence to secure her place at the top. The truth, as always, is likely somewhere in between. What's clear, however, is that Marjorie's past continues to cast a long shadow over her present, and as more details emerge, it's becoming increasingly difficult to separate fact from fiction.
Are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand? I think that
While Diddy's alleged role in this story adds another layer of complexity. As he faces mounting legal troubles, some have speculated that the sale of these tapes, if they exist, could be a strategic move on his part. With lawsuits piling up and his reputation in tatters, Diddy may be looking for any opportunity to secure the resources he needs to fight his battles. The idea that he could be leveraging incriminating footage to fund his defense is both shocking and, in some ways, a reflection of the high-stakes world these celebrities inhabit. But here's where things take an even darker turn. If the rumors about the tape are true, it raises questions about the power dynamics at play in Hollywood. What does it say about an industry where such footage can allegedly be used as both a weapon and a bargaining chip? And how does this reflect on the culture of secrecy and control that seems to dominate the lives of the rich and famous? These are questions that go beyond the Harveys and Diddy and speak to the broader issues of accountability and transparency in the world of celebrity.
Was it because of money? Was Jay-Z caught cheating?
The Harveys have always been a study in contrasts, a couple who project an image of stability and success while navigating a world filled with rumors and speculation. Whether this latest controversy will tarnish their legacy or simply add another chapter to their already complicated story remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the world will be watching closely as this drama unfolds. And so, we're left with more questions than answers. How much of this story is true, and how much is the product of an industry that thrives on scandal and intrigue? What role did Marjorie's past play in shaping the life she shares with Steve? And perhaps most importantly, how far will the Harveys go to protect their empire? These are the questions that keep us hooked, and as the story continues to evolve, one thing is for sure: we haven't seen the last of this saga.
I know so much on how you got where you are.
As the curtain falls on this episode, the storm surrounding Steve and Marjorie Harvey, along with the enigmatic Diddy, shows no signs of abating. The questions linger: could there be more to Marjorie's past that we haven't uncovered yet? And just how far would someone go to keep their secrets buried? The lines between truth and rumor blur, and the stakes couldn't be higher. So, what do you think? Is this all a cleverly orchestrated smokescreen, or is there a grain of truth hidden within the whispers? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The conversation is just getting started. Until next time, stay curious and keep the speculation rolling. Goodbye for now.
Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
Shadowy corners. Imagine this: a tape worth 100 million currency units allegedly exchanged hands, featuring none other than Steve Harvey's wife, Marjorie Harvey, in an unthinkable scenario involving the embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. But the story doesn't stop at the tape itself. It's the tangled web of connections, motivations, and whispered deals behind closed doors that make this tale one of the most scandalous in recent memory. There's a storm brewing in the world of celebrity gossip, and this one has it all: glitz, secrecy, and jaw-dropping